Hello everyone and welcome to my bariatric journey. My name is Miranda and today we are going to be doing another viral TikTok recipe. So I found this one and I personally I was so excited about it. I'm like, that looks so good. It is a mostly cheese recipe, which makes me very happy. I keep pulling my cheese apart here, sorry. Makes me very happy that it is a cheese recipe because I love cheese. Cheese is a really good protein that we can get in as long as it's light or skim milk cheese. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to do a mozzarella cheese donut. Now, the one in TikTok is covered in like hot Takis or, flaming hot Cheetos or something that you crush up. And obviously super bad for you, super not what you're going for. So my thought was we could do either a cracker that we could put it in or a, bariatric friendly chip. Now there's lots of chips out on the market. Do your own thing, but I'm going with these Enjoy Life lentil chips. I don't eat these very often. In fact, I think I've had this bag for about 3 weeks and I've only eaten them twice. They do have a healthy amount of fat but it gives you the amount of fat in the entire bag, which I find really funny because there's no way I'm eating this entire bag in one sitting. That's kind of crazy. So anywho, we're going to go with these as our topping that we're going to use. And we're going to go with part skim mozzarella cheese. And this is a pizza cheese, so it's really the really stringy, easy to shred pizza cheese. And what I've done is I've taken 250 grams and I've just put it in this bowl because we're actually going to have to melt it. For the frying, it actually calls for deep frying. You're going to put everything into an egg wash, which eggs are great on a bariatric diet, so no problem putting eggs in this recipe, but you're going to have to put everything into an egg wash and then over from the egg wash into some flour. So instead of your regular all-purpose gluten flour, I'm going to use half almond flour and half oatmeal or oats that have been ground up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just 1 spritz of this, which has less than half a gram of fat per a half-second spray. And I'm just going to do 1 spritz of this on 2 donuts and throw them in the air fryer. So that is my plan. Hopefully that will, really bring down the fat content. And hopefully the air fryer will do what we want it to do and not allow everything to just kind of melt all over. My husband's like, I'm going to laugh so hard if you just come out with like a cheese-filled air fryer that you have to like scrape the cheese off the bottom. So let's hope that's not what's happening here. And this is what we're going to make anyway. I'm going to put the TikTok down below. We definitely will see, you'll see it in the description down below, which TikTok I'm referencing for this and where I got my ingredients and all that stuff. And in my blog post, I will have all of the bariatric nutrition values. Listen to your doctor. I don't say this enough. I should say this more often, but listen to your doctor. If your specific doctor says you need to have this much fat per serving, and I'm giving you a recipe that has more fat per serving, cut your serving down or don't make that recipe. Don't take me as any kind of a, I'm no professional when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm doing what you guys are doing. I'm not a dietitian. I'm doing what you guys are doing and just learning as I go. I'm allowed to have so much fat per serving, and that's what I'm trying to do with my recipes. If you're not allowed to have as much fat, please try to bring yours down by using maybe a skim milk cheese instead of a part skim cheese. I use part skim. I know you can get skim milk mozzarella, so that, it shouldn't be a problem to go with the skim milk cheese. It's mostly the protein we want from the cheese, not the fat. So yes, so that's what I'm doing anyway. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up on my recipes. I don't want, just a disclaimer, I don't want anyone thinking that I am a professional anyway. So the first step in this recipe is we're going to melt this cheese. This is why I keep breaking it up. Any larger pieces I see, I'm breaking up a little bit because we want to melt this in the microwave. I'm going to put it in for a minute. I'm going to stir it, put it back in for a minute, and do that in my microwave until it is consistently not this. It's just one mass of melted cheese. So we'll see in a couple minutes. All right, guys. So it took about 3 minutes for that to work. It's not completely melted. It's just melty, right? So we're going to go ahead. It's not a liquid. but we didn't add any liquid to it, so we weren't expecting it to become a full liquid. So what we're gonna do is, it's really hot, but we're gonna wanna work with it really fast while it's hot. Don't use your bare fingers, obviously, if you can help it. But we wanna split this into, I'm gonna say 4 bits, so we can make 4 donuts. There we go. 1 here, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do this as best I can. Pull it, stretch it. There we go. Cheesy, cheesy, stretchy, stretchy. So you can see some of the fat's actually coming out on the counter from this cheese. It's like, you want it to be, oh, that's really warm. You want it to be these nice long things so we can put it into our donut container or our donut maker, nice and long. Now I do have one of these. If you don't have one of these, that's not a problem. Just shape them into donuts yourself. I mean, who cares, right? So this is actually going to be the bottom of the donuts, what you're seeing here, because they're nice and round on the other side, and that's going to look better in the original video. So you'll see when we get them back, we'll flip them over and see how nice and roundy they look. So there we go. It's really hot, but all of that is put together now. So now what we're going to do with this is we're going to throw it. You can see the fat on my hands from the cheese, but that's okay. That's good. The less fat it's actually in the cheese, the better. Have those dry. So I'm going to go ahead and put those into my refrigerator. While they're in the refrigerator kind of hardening up again, we're going to prepare the rest of the ingredients. So you're probably going to refrigerate them for 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so while those are doing that, we're going to go ahead and prepare everything else that we need for those. So these are my chips. I took 25 grams of those chips, and I'm going to go ahead and crush these just in a regular Ziploc bag, closed as tightly as it'll go. I'm going to grab a pinning roll, rolling pin, whatever you want to call it. So here's my rolling pin, and I'm going to crush them. This is what I'm going to use for to dip them in my breading. I want to get it nice and fine. You may have to want to do this a couple times. Just grab them, spin it around, mix them up a little bit, and then go at them again until they're a nice fine consistency. There's mine nice and fine there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them into here for one of my dipping stations. So I just got some of these at the dollar store. Comes in a 3-pack for $1. You could use them again. You don't have to throw them out when you're done with them, but they're super handy for stuff like mixing stations where you don't want to necessarily have to wash all that afterwards because it's kind of gross sometimes. So there's the covering that we're going to use, or the dip we're going to mix it in. Now we need another station for the flour. So I have 1/4 cup of almond flour, 1/4 cup of ground oats. There we go. Use my spoon to mixy back together, and that's just keeping your hands with that. It really doesn't matter. It's your kitchen. They're your hands. Wash them before you cook. But other than that, I got no opinion on how you do this. But this is the flour part. So these are actually going to be double dipped. So what we're going to do is egg wash flour, egg wash coating. So hopefully we have a nice thick coating so that the mozzarella won't come through into the air fryer. Now the last thing I'm going to do is beat up these 2 eggs. Didn't grab it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 eggs, and I'm just going to make a quick egg wash. Whoops. Try to keep the eggshells out of it. 2 eggs. And about a tablespoon of water should give you exactly what you need for your egg wash. And you want to always beat this until it's no longer stringy. See how some of this still is cohesive together? Like you see some white pieces and then you pick it up and you get strings. You don't want that. You want it till it's just a liquid. So until you've beaten away all that stringiness. Otherwise, you're going to have a string of egg that comes with you into everything you're putting it in, and it's going to be a problem. You really want to beat that well. All right, so there is my egg wash. And there you go. That's everything that I need to prepare there. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is my magic tin foil. Oopsie. I'm going to put tin foil into the bottom of my air fryer. Now, I have a Total Chef air fryer that doesn't give me a temperature, just gives me like fries, fish, shrimp, baking, beef, all kinds of different settings like that. That's my air fryer. Whatever your air fryer is, I'll let you know the temperature it should be as well as the setting I used on mine, so that it'll help you. Now, I'm just putting in this tin foil to save the bottom of my air fryer, not for any other reason. The tin foil, this tin foil is not for any reason other than to save the bottom of my air fryer from melting mozzarella. Because the last thing I want to do is be picking mozzarella out of my air fryer. So, in case this recipe totally fails, I still have a backup system here. So we'll set that aside as well. And there we go. That's everything we need to start on our breading of the, I guess you could call it breading, or our coating, our crunchiness for the mozzarella donuts. All right, I'll see you guys in a few minutes after those donuts are done setting up in the fridge, and we will move on from there. All right, so I've gone ahead and grabbed these from the fridge. They are cold to the touch now. They're not hot, they're not warm, there's nothing. They're completely solid. As you can see, this is what they look like on the good side. So that's the side I'm going to have up, because I just think they look better that way. And you know, this one's kind of come apart, but that's okay. No big deal. We're going to go ahead and do our thing. So what we want to do is take them, put them in the egg wash. And I'm going to go ahead and do the wet hand, dry hand thing. Didn't stay together very well. That's my fault. So I'll do the dry hand. This. So that's the flour coating. And like I said, I have no idea how this is going to work in comparison with something you'd actually deep fry, because we're not going to actually deep fry it. There's the flour coating. Put it back in there. That. Now this is the hard part, I think. Okay. I want to make sure it's completely coated with this crumb texture stuff. Not too bad, actually. It looks like it's working quite well. Okay. There you go. That's one. Okay, I'm back. So as with any chips that you use for this, as I said, the original recipe called for like your hot Cheetos or hot Takis, which is fine for people who aren't bariatric. But for me personally, I wouldn't be able to do that. So using lentil chips. These lentil chips, there's all kinds of lentil chips on the market and different kinds of like beef chips and stuff. And they all have different recipes. So if you find one that's like a hot recipe that you really enjoy, go ahead and use it. This is what we're doing. We're experimenting. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to my fryer now. Very careful not to let that breading come off, because we need that. And so I only have 2 in my fryer at a time. Like I said, I'm trying to minimize the mess just in case it does get all gross. If I see any actual mozzarella showing, I'm just going to cover it here with some extra chip stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I'm going to put that in my air fryer for about 15 minutes. I'm going to try it 15 minutes on the French fry setting, which is, I looked it up, the French fry setting is 400 degrees. I'm going to do 15 minutes at 400 degrees and see how it looks. All right, guys, I forgot to tell you before that I did do a spritz of this. Less than half a second spritz over both that I put in the fryer, so in the air fryer. That way it has some fat in it to crisp it up. That's the hope anyway. And moment of truth, you hear that beep? That's my air fryer finishing. I have not looked at these yet, so we're going to see together. I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to bring them over to show you. It worked! Oh my God, they're not like melted. I totally thought they were going to melt everywhere. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited about this. So they totally worked. I would not recommend under any circumstances eating this whole thing, but it definitely looks like it worked. Maybe I cooked them too long. Does that look like they were cooked too long, do you think? I still have 2 more left, so I can do 2 more for less time. Okay, let's try these ones first. So the big thing on the TikTok that I saw was you were able to pull them apart and you get that crazy cheese pull. So let's see. Oh, that's really hot. Don't do that. Don't pull a Miranda. Okay, so I've cut them just a little bit and let's see if I can get a cheese pull. No cheese pull, but there's still cheese inside. They're not, overcooked. Nope, they're definitely cheese inside. What is the thing we love most about mozzarella sticks is dipping them in some sort of pizza sauce or pasta sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and get some pizza sauce and try this. This is not part of the bariatric diet, but I just have some Primo pizza sauce, just happen to have it in my fridge. I will go ahead and use that to dip just to see what it's like. I mean, I'm sure just by itself it'll be good as well. Oh, I don't even have very much of this left. Isn't that funny? Okay, so very small amount. Oh, look at that cheese. Oh, cheese. Very small amount. We're going to taste this and see what it tastes like. Oh, it's all the best things about mozzarella sticks. Oh my God, that totally worked. I'm so excited. Come back with me in a couple minutes. I will come back with the other batch that I did. I'm going to do the other batch for 10 minutes. I think this was in a little bit too long. So I'm going to try it at 350 for 10 minutes and see if I can get them even more cheese pully. I'll be back. Okay, if we hear that beeping, that means it's been 10 minutes. So what I've done is, or my production assistant has done, is we put them in for 5 minutes the first time, then we flipped them and put them in for another 5. So they were at 400 degrees this time for just 10 minutes. I'm hoping that's going to make it just a tiny bit more stretchy cheese pullness. So again, I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to pull it out and you're going to see it. You're going to be the first one to see it. I'm not looking, I'm not looking. I'm so excited with this. Look at that cheese. The cheese is just coming out a little bit in some places. It's a little hard in some places. You definitely want to knock them off. It's a little, the chips are a little much, honestly. I think those chips are just like, they're super crunchy, but I think they're a little much. I did the recipe up in the recipe calculator while this batch was cooking just to see. And per half donut, there's 3.4 grams of protein and only 2 grams of fat. So that is an amazing ratio. There's no sugar. There's no, I mean, that's a terrific ratio for your light mozzarella cheese, which is what I use. You're looking at a really good, I think anyway, a really good ratio for your proteins and your, everything that you want to get on your bariatric diet. So I think a half a donut is a perfect, serving size. You get that mozzarella stick feel and, without all the guilt of deep frying. Let's go ahead. Oh, look at that cheese. Oh, doesn't that just look delicious? Look how cheesy that is. Even this is just the tiniest bit overcooked, honestly. Not as bad as last batch, mind you. Well, let's go ahead and taste it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was expecting this recipe to be a total fail. I was 100% expecting this recipe to be a total fail. I thought we were going to get mozzarella cheese everywhere. I thought it was going to be disgusting. Even with the cooking spray, everything we added to it, adding in the eggs, which we didn't use all the egg, adding in the breading and the almond flour and oat flour, which we didn't use at all. Even adding all of that together and putting the cooking spray on it and putting that all in the recipe calculator, you are still looking at a decent recipe. I mean, will it bariatric? Definitely yes. This is a bariatric friendly, it's not an everyday thing. Obviously, you don't want to be living on mozzarella sticks, but it's definitely a bariatric friendly snack for a good time. Oh my God. My son tried the other ones that I made, loved them. He ate it all. Everything that was left that I didn't eat, which I only had a couple little bites that you saw me take on camera, everything else, my 15-year-old son just gobbled it up. He said they were delicious. They taste just like mozzarella sticks. So even for kids, it's great. You can probably do this with just cheese strings. Just buy cheese strings, get the light mozzarella cheese strings, and go for it. And have your own, mozzarella sticks. Do this fancy TikTok mozzarella donut, whatever you want to do. Oh my goodness, that was delicious. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you love this recipe. Please like and subscribe. Leave your comments. Give me some ideas of some TikTok recipes that you've seen that you want to see if they can bariatric. I'm loving this, this whole thing. All of these things that we're trying, bariatric friendly TikTok recipes. I'm loving this series. So definitely give me more ideas. I am in love with this recipe. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys. Have a great night. Bye.
Okay.
It's so good.
Cheese pull. Hot mozzarella inside.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're freaking delicious.